the state in action. Now, I know I went through a lot of the different points and I touched on it in the last video, but the most important part of your internal Kung Fu training, of your Wing Chun and meditation training, is the state. If you do not cultivate the state in your Wing Chun, then it doesn't matter how many shapes you know and the angles that you attack from, then your Wing Chun will be weak. If you do not have a unified structure, if you do not direct your whole power into the opponent's center correctly, so not with force, but via intention, then your Wing Chun will be shit. It's just how it is. Because there'll be a disconnection in your body, and there'll be so for example, if Noah's guard's on, right? And he doesn't know how to unify his structure, meaning center and sense, meaning center himself and sense. Like if he knows how to do that, then great. When I put pressure on his system, relax the hips and shoulders, aim at me. As I put pressure in his system now, he can take that pressure into the floor. He's maximizing his structural potential. Whereas if he doesn't know how to do that, because he's not aware of syncing, he's not aware of sensing, he's not aware of opening up the center and aligning with a better frequency, a better power, then for example, he might just push his shoulders forward. Yeah? And just subtly, you don't have to, just a subtle push. That subtle push disconnects his arm from his spine, and watch how easy it is to attack now. I had someone come here who'd been doing Wing Chun for 4 years last night, and literally just last night. And not with me. Anyway, he hadn't been doing Wing Chun with me. He'd been training 4 years elsewhere. But he couldn't even connect his arm to his spine yet. So just because of that subtle tension, it was very easy to attack, right? Very easy to attack and overpower him. But once he learned, okay, I need to softly draw up, Tai Gong, spine tall, sense my spine, sense my arm, then as I put pressure into his system, he could draw it in. So if you don't know how to actually use the Wing Chun state, your Wing Chun will be terrible. That's what I'm getting at. So you have to develop the actual Wing Chun condition from the Sil Nim Tao. The first form of Wing Chun, which is the last section of the curriculum, the Sil Nim Tao section, is the most important. Because without the state, without the Sil Nim Tao power, which my master would call Nim Tao in his later years, he initially called it Nim Lik, like mind force, or Lop Nim. And mind power is a much better word for it in my opinion, because it aligns with power, not force. If you do not have that, then your Wing Chun will be overpowered, which is another reason why Wing Chun's not necessarily looked on that well in the martial arts culture, because a lot of practitioners lack the internal cultivation of the Wing Chun structure and the Wing Chun state. So, let's go into it a little deeper. So as we do our luksao, our single sticking hands, our double singles, and so on and so forth, you're looking to bring the state into it. Now, what does that look like? So let's just do it from luksao so you can kind of get a feeling for what I'm talking about. Yeah. So as we roll, right? As we roll slowly. So first and foremost, you want to be going forward towards each other, right? We both reach forward, which potentiates this spin, this roll. Now, as we roll, what's happening? Noah wants to maintain centering, so he keeps his spine nice and tall, and sense his overall space, which unifies the structure. So that as I put pressure on him, he's using his whole bone structure as the foundation for his shield, for his Wing Chun shield, right? So that this rolls whilst aiming forward, right? So it's like a ball in front of him that spins. So that's the first thing. You center, you feel nice and tall, you sense, so you cultivate a unified structure. Now, how does this deepen? How do we go deeper into state in this environment? Well, as I put pressure on Noah, or as Noah puts pressure towards me, what will happen is there'll be feedback. Tension will build in, for example, his body or my body, and then as you notice that tension, you then use the state to dissolve the tension. So let's just say I'm pressing towards Noah, and as I press more and more and more, he notices some tension in his system. Where do you notice tension?
My hamstrings.
In your hamstrings, yeah? How about in upper body? Where in your upper body do you notice it?
Back and shoulders.
Okay, good. So let's start there. So as I apply pressure, right, Noah noticed some tension in his back and shoulders. So how do we use the state to relieve that? He softly draws up from the base, and aligns his center with his highest intention. So he gets that good feeling in his center so that he has a good frequency in his mind and his emotions and body. Now from that frequency, from that centering, he then sinks down through. So he uses the sinking energy through that space. And you may have noticed his shoulders start to drop, continue to sink through the back, spine tall. Yeah, so now he's built, yeah, good. Feel the difference now? Yeah. Now he's and that looks quite subtle. You may not notice it if you're new to this, but you're cultivating the connections from the mind, the brain, to the actual body. Okay? So mind, energy, brain, body, right? So that, for example, I'm pushing forward, or I'm reaching forward is a better term, my shoulder gets tense, I center in my intention, get the good feeling, and then I sink down and dissolve that tension. So you're building the connections in your system to be able to relax and release the muscles under pressure. So you're developing the state under dynamic pressure now. Not just here in the meditation, not just here in the Chun Tao, but now with a training partner. And we're both doing that, right? So you're cultivating the ability to stay in your center. Tai Gong, spine tall, feel good. To sense your whole structure, unify the structure, chin down, crown up. And then to sink and dissolve whilst moving. So you're training your system to stay lam, soft, to stay feng sung, released and let go, relaxed and let go, whilst moving under pressure. Now, the last point of that is that you're practicing your targeting as well. So as you sense your whole body, as you stay centered and feel good, you target everything like that triangular prism, so that we both have that intelligent targeting of the whole potential power as we roll. So this may look like a simple basic exercise, and yes, a lot of people don't have the patience for it and haven't even practiced slow conscious looks out to build in the state. However, the essence of Wing Chun is the state, the Nim Tao, the Sil Nim Tao, the foundation of the whole Wing Chun system, right? So building this, the state, into all of your forms of practice and all of the parts of Chi Sao that we're going to go through in this lesson is the key. Now, don't get bogged down with it initially. Like you do need to learn the shapes and the sequences first. So don't worry too much about, okay, I want to feel centered, sensing, sinking, targeting. Initially, get your shapes and your sequences right. But just have in your mind that cultivating the state is the key to unlocking both your martial power and your own personal power in life. Okay, any questions? Chuck them in the community. Also, if you are really serious about this and you want to actually train with me and the other coaches in my private community, then there'll be a link under this video or a link in the community somewhere. Book a call with me. So normally you do a call with me or one of the other coaches first, and we figure out exactly what you want and how we can help, and then we see how we can work together. Whether you want to actually be a student in our private community, or whether you want to be a teacher trainee, which is the top level. And as a lot of you guys should know by now, we're looking to open training temples everywhere for people to join in and get the goodness of meditation and Wing Chun. So any questions, chuck them in the community, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.